local people, local stories, local photographs. That's what sells the paper for us anyway.
I mean, it's unique. No one else will have that image or those images of things which are important events and the not so important events, and of people from this area and of their parents and grandparents and great grandparents. You know, we have the images. It's the local history of the Ards area going back 50 odd years. You know, and it's all the happenings, all the life of the Ards area encapsulated in one small room.
It's just old copies of the Chronicle dating back to probably the mid-50s. And it's unfortunately in such a poor state. They used to bind the every year's editions of the paper, and actually it was a great resource for people coming in to look stuff up. Unfortunately, about 10, 15 years ago they stopped doing that, and this has just gone dragging around from there. It's basically, well, this is all to do with the office, and these are our names here. These particular books will date back to late 70s. There's about 100 neg books there, all 35mm, and then we have boxes here which will go back to 1955. Now we'll have a couple of boxes downstairs, just because we're obviously having to try and find some old negatives.
So we started going colour in 1998. In those days we were colour negatives. So we started keeping a record of our captions from 1998, and we'll have them right through to the present day. But unfortunately before that, we had just written them out basically and given them to the editorial, and they would have typed them out, or we had the basic word processors, and that's all we would have used it for, just to type a caption. Unfortunately they're long gone now. The only way to do it really would be to go up and have a look at the paper up in the attic, pick a photograph you want, come down here and see what's in the negative book. That's another part about it. Unfortunately we don't really have anywhere suitable for them. It's a wee bit damp up there for them, and it would be nice to have a room to be able to store them in, but unfortunately due to lack of space here, but not possible at all.
If someone comes in to us with a negative number, we can then put it out. We can then give them probably an exact date as to when it was taken. So there's images from that particular date, in 1965. So, and the images back then were really, really good. The 2 1/4 square negatives were just spectacular when it came to reproduction. As you would leaf through the negative files, you would see, just your general social life, your social happenings in the area. And as you would leaf through, you got a Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, a Saturday you'd be in your sports, and then maybe a Sunday you'd have some churchy pictures, and then you're back in on Monday again, you're maybe around some schools and whatever else. So as you just leaf through, you're leafing through the weeks, you know. I mean, that looks to be like a parish priest. It could be just a new parish priest to the area. Then you maybe move on there, and there's it looks like rugby, or Gaelic, possibly rugby. There's football. There's a photograph taken in a shop. Golf club. Another one taken in a shop. That looks like something's being built, so it could be a new school or a new building of some description just starting. And there's a band. Like a lot of that is very similar. Like that's probably, we've seen it in Orange Lodge, like that's probably a dedication of a new standard, which we would do today. We would do any sort of a social event. There's photographs of guys standing in it looks like a barley field. Again, we're a very rural paper, so we do a lot in the farming community. Probably pick a book from 1975 and see that, it's some people are looking a wee bit older, but they are younger, to what we're maybe doing 5-10 years later. I think people spend more time on these things. Outside of that there, not a lot has changed. Right, this is a photographic order. Anybody has maybe seen their photographing the paper, want a hard glossy version of it, they can pop in here to the office or just phone the girls up, and just by quoting a number or quoting a description, we can then just pull the negative out of the archives and make a print of it for them. So we get a lot of orders for the first time at school. We get a lot of orders for school reunions. After school, I mean, hundreds of pounds worth of a school reunion, because again, it's having that there, having that image of everybody together, it seems to generate a lot of interest. From 1960, they sort of figured this photography thing might take off. So they started to catalogue and actually number the files, and that made life a lot easier. So then we just, from that on, we progressed obviously from 2¼ square to 35mm negs in the early 70s, and then I would have started about the 5 here, so 35mm, and then on in, and then from here on we're digital. At least with a neg you can physically see the thing, whereas that there is just a box, and something should happen it, it could just disappear. So they're stored and then backed up on tapes, but once the tape is made, the tape's taken off site. But our images going back probably, 10, 11 years are all stored on here. If something should happen in this building, this is lost. And I'd love to get them digitized, to get them to keep that record. And I would say it would make life a lot easier to locate the images. But feeling that there, which if there's a fire, these are coming out with me, So they're they are very, very valuable.